Space, the final frontier. Here are 11 steps to an awesome space environment for your EEVEE and Cycles renders in Blender 4.2. First of all, we're going to need the HDRI file. If you don't already have one, please check the description below for a link to some great ones. Next, we're going to open up Blender, and with that open, we're going to move over to the shading tab, and at the bottom of the page, we are looking for the shader editor page. From there, we're going to go on down and make a change from object to world shader. And then once we do that, we're going to add 4 nodes to that page. So it's going to be from the input section, we're going to add texture coordinate. From the vector section, we're going to add the mapping node. And from texture, we're going to add the environment texture. And from the color area, we're going to add brightness and contrast. So with those on there, here are the connections between all of the nodes. We're going to make a connection between the texture coordinate generated output. We're going to connect that to the mapping vector input. From that mapping node, we're going to check the vector output and plug that into the environment texture vector input. And then from the environment texture color output, we're going to connect that to the brightness contrast color input. And then from there, we're going to connect that color output from the brightness contrast node to the background color input. So that has them all connected up now, and we're going to make these settings to these nodes. In the brightness, in the environment texture, first of all, we're going to plug in the HDRI file that we downloaded following the file pack picker. And then we're going to go to the brightness contrast node, and we're going to set the brightness to around 3.5. And in the brightness contrast node again, in the contrast, we're going to set that to around 11.5. That gives you those nice, beautiful, crisp shadows. And then in the background node, we're going to set the strength to around 11.5 there as well. Finally, make some changes to those settings, make it what you need. So once we have all that in place, we're done. But if we want to save it for additional projects in the future, this is what we're going to do. We're going to switch some of these settings back so that it all comes out as normal. So we're going to change the shader editing window. We're going to change that back from world to object. And then we're going to switch back to the layout tab at the top there. And then that kind of puts us back in the default settings for creating new projects. And we're going to save the changes by going down to the Files menu. We're going to go down to Defaults and then the Save Start File. And there'll be a pop-up that comes up. Click Overwrite, and all of those settings will be changed for you. So every time you open up Blender now, your background will be set to that space environment, and you can make changes to that as needed. So step number 11, click like and subscribe.